Hello, my fellow brothers and sisters from Africa and in Africa. How are you guys doing? I hope everyone is fine. And I hope life is treating you well. I hope you are doing your best to make sure that you can achieve your goals on this earth. I hope you understand that the success of your life depends on you, and only you can make a significant change in your life. So whatever you are doing, just keep doing it. No matter how tough things get, never ever give up. Like I said in a previous video, only those who give up actually failed. Only those who give up actually failed. If you never gave up, you never really failed. No matter how long that dream or that goal might take to achieve. And please do us a favor by liking this video, sharing it, leave us a comment below, and also subscribe to this channel, because believe it or not, that really helps us, and we shall forever be grateful to you. And just to point out one more thing, I believe that our show is a conversational one. So we welcome opinions and the ideas from other people. If you have something that you want us to share on this platform, if you have something that you want us to talk about, you can just reach out to us in the comment section below or through our other social media contacts, and we shall get back to you as soon as possible. So enough of that. Let's run along with some of the stories making the headlines from our beloved continent. Mali clarified on Wednesday that it had no intention of departing from West Africa's currency zone, while Burkina Faso hinted at such a move after they, along with Niger, declared their withdrawal from the region's political bloc. This has created uncertainty about their future in the West African Economic and Monetary Union, which comprises 8 nations and employs a common currency, the CFA franc, pegged to the euro. Regarding Mali's stance on WEMO, Foreign Minister Abdoulaye Diop stated that Mali is withdrawing from ECOWAS but remains a member of WEMO. In a separate discussion about leaving ECOWAS, Burkina Faso's military leader Ibrahim Traoré indicated that an exit from the monetary union was under consideration. Let me just put this straight. I am with the opinion that Africa using a foreign currency is of no benefit to us. Now we can argue about that. We can argue about the stability of the of the CFA franc. But I just think that we shouldn't be using a foreign currency. There are many nations in Africa that are using their own national currency, and those nations still have a stable economy. The franc CFA is pegged to the euro, no doubt, but those countries using it have a lot of preconditions that they have to meet up with before they can use that currency. Do you know that those countries using the franc CFA have a particular percentage they pay as taxes for using the currency? Do you know that those countries using the CFA franc, they have their foreign reserves deposited with the French Ministry of Finance? Do you know that? And these countries cannot expand their economy to a certain extent without getting permission from the French Ministry of Finance. The French Ministry of Finance have so much say as to how these countries run their monetary system than the countries themselves. So I do not see any reason why the Sahel nations want to stay within this monetary bloc. They hinted on having their own currency, and I think that was a great thing for them to do. If you're going to move out, just move out. There is no need to in having one foot in, one foot out. There's no need for that. If you are pulling out, just pull out. Just pull out. Don't give the enemy a means to get at you. Don't give the enemy a way to target you. You wanted France out. Get rid of France totally. But you know what? I would like to know what you guys think about this move by Mali to stay in the monetary bloc, and if that was a great move or not. And what about the one proposed by Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso? Is it a great move for these Sahel nations to come together and form their own monetary bloc and maybe have a local currency that they all use? Let us know in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. So let's move on to our next story for the day. Burkina Faso Prime Minister has stated that the Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger historic decision to withdraw from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, is a carefully considered decision that followed the thorough analysis of the institution and the potential consequences of withdrawal. Authorities believe that ECOWAS no longer meets the aspirations of the Sahelian people, necessitating the formation of the AES alliance. Prime Minister condemned ECOWAS sanctions against his country, Mali and Niger, accusing the bloc of failing to assist its member states. He expressed dissatisfaction, stating, "Instead of the ECOWAS of the people, the organization has become a technocratic tool that has ultimately deviated from the legitimate aspirations of the West African people." I have also said that. I have said the same thing, that instead of ECOWAS being for the people, ECOWAS is now being for Westerners. ECOWAS will rather side with Westerners against their own people. How can we have an African bloc? How can we have a West African bloc that is supposed to look out for the people who are members of the bloc? But rather, ECOWAS would side against those same people who are members of the bloc for Westerners. How come? You know, this move by the Sahelian nations is an excellent one. And I hope that they do not go back to it. They should be out of it until ECOWAS reassess themselves to really understand their purpose. Because ECOWAS has lost perspective. ECOWAS has lost the trust and likeness of the people in Africa and from Africa. What they did to Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger just go to show what their agenda is. They would censure an African country for saying no to France. And according to them, the sanctions they put in place was for the benefit of the African people. Those same people who will be struggling to get on with their lives because of the sanctions that ECOWAS has put in place. You will say that you are out there to protect a people. The same people who are being hurt by the sanctions you put in place. What kind of help is that? What kind of help is that? And you hear the same thing the Prime Minister of Burkina Faso has said here. they have lost trust in ECOWAS. ECOWAS is not for the people anymore. ECOWAS has not become an authoritarian mechanism that will go against anyone who wanted to think differently from them. So, let's move on to our next story for the day. Burkina Faso has integrated the RTS malaria vaccine into its expanded vaccination program, covering 27 health districts endorsed by the World Health Organization 2 years ago. The vaccine is expected to significantly reduce severe infections. The initial phase targets nearly 250,000 children aged 5 to 23 months across the designated district out of a total of 70. So, Burkina Faso is taking the health condition of its people very seriously. And I think Cameroon has also started administering this malaria vaccine. You know, malaria is one of the most dangerous diseases in Africa. It kills a lot of people in Africa. And having this vaccine in place, in my own opinion, is a great thing because I believe it's going to help protect African children. Now, I understand that there are a lot of skepticism when it comes to vaccine, but we all know from experience and from history how many lives have been saved through vaccination. We know about polio, right? About measles, about I think smallpox. All these diseases have been brought to bed through vaccination. Malaria has been very, very persistent in Africa, and I will only hope and pray that with the introduction of this vaccine, malaria will soon become a thing of the past. So kudos to Burkina Faso and kudos to Ibrahim Traore for moving the country forward. So let's move on to our next story for the day. With withdrawal of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS is projected to result in an annual loss of nearly $74 million for the bloc. According to Burkina Faso's Minister of Economy and Finance, Abubakar Nakanabo argued that a reduction in membership inevitably leads to financial losses. He further highlighted that Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, which from the Alliance of Sahel states, hold the majority of ECOWAS natural resources. Regarding foreign trade, Nakanabo noted that Burkina Faso's departure from ECOWAS would have minimal impact due to its underdeveloped trade relations with other community member states. Well, according to Burkina Faso's Minister of Economy and Finance, the departure of 3 Sahelan nations is going to impact ECOWAS very, very seriously. That is why I said that ECOWAS must reevaluate their stance. ECOWAS must really re-examine their position. And ECOWAS need to go back to the drawing board and really outline their purpose. Without that, ECOWAS will keep on losing members because people in Africa, especially people within the ECOWAS bloc, have realized that ECOWAS is not standing for the people. ECOWAS is just there to do their own thing, and the leaders are just there to protect themselves. So we hope that this serves as an example to ECOWAS, and ECOWAS will now really examine themselves if they are really a union for the people or a union against the people. But Let's move on to our next story for the day. Cobalt Metals, a California-based metals exploration company with backing from billionaires Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, is expediting plans to develop a new mine at its Mingoba project in Zambia to meet the rising demand for critical metals. Joe Goldman, the company's co-founder and president, disclosed to British media that the Mingoba deposit boasts copper ore grades of approximately 5%, potentially marking it as the highest grade discovery in Zambia in a century. As the demand for critical metals like copper, cobalt, lithium, and nickel surge, foreign companies are intensifying efforts to secure alternative supply sources. Anglo-American, a British mining group, has also announced preliminary exploration activities for copper and cobalt in Zambia, as indicated by the company's CEO, Duncan Wanblade, on Monday. The proposed mine's development, slated to commence around 2027, is estimated to require an investment of approximately $2 billion. So Zambia is moving ahead with mining, and there are a lot of minerals found in Zambia. I think Zambia is a country that is so blessed with all these critical and crucial minerals. And when I hear about stuff like this, there's just one question I ask, and forgive me for being too naive, but let me just ask this question anyway. Will this company mount a processing plant in the country, or they will just exploit their raw minerals and then ship them abroad? Because like I have said before, Africa needs manufacturing. Manufacturing is a very, very important component to any economy. Do you know why China is what it is now? It's not because of mining. It's because of manufacturing. 4 out of every 5 things you use will be manufactured in China. 4 out of 5. China is this gigantic manufacturing hub, and China has done a significant progress in developing China. So I would hope that when African countries are issuing licenses for mining, there should be a precondition that if you are going to be mining in Africa, then you have to set up your processing plant in Africa, so that when we mine the raw minerals, we now need to process it into a semi-finished product or a finished product. By so doing, we can create jobs for Africans. By so doing, Africans can also have good quality jobs, and this might even help reduce migration and immigration. I hope that African leaders can have this small clause in place. That will go a long way in protecting Africans. But you know what? Let's move on to our next story for the day. The Nigerian Governors Forum has stated that Nigerian food remains the most affordable in West Africa. Chairman Abdulrahman, who is also the governor of Kwara State, made these remarks in Abuja yesterday during a visit with the Minister of Agriculture and Food Security. He observes that neighboring countries rely on Nigerian food for trade, using commodities like soybeans to generate foreign exchange. While acknowledging the benefits of this trade, he emphasized the importance of enhancing production and increasing yield per hectares to ensure Nigeria can adequately supply West Africa with food. Yes, Nigeria has always been a country that produces a lot of food. Nigeria used to be the food basket of Africa. I mean, before they discover oil, and then everyone now moves to oil and then forget about agriculture. Nigeria used to be very, very good at agriculture. Until oil came in, then everyone was like, let's go after oil money. Let's forget about agriculture. But let me just make the point, as the governor has said that Nigeria's food is very affordable and stuff like that. That might be, that might not be. But if we do not attack the poverty in Africa, if we do not attack the low wages situation in Nigeria, if we do not attack, if we do not make sure that people can have good jobs, people can have sustainable income, no matter how cheap or no matter how affordable the food is, people are still not gonna be able to afford it. Because believe me, Nigerians are crying. There is high inflation in Nigeria. Even though Mr. Governor here is saying that Nigerian food is very affordable. Well, maybe for him and his friends, food is very affordable for them. After all, they've stolen all government money, allegedly. So food might not be their problem. But for the majority of Nigerians who are barely scraping to survive, who can hardly afford a single quality meal, to them, food is not that affordable. It's not. Nigeria, I have always said this, and let me just put this out there one more time, is a mighty nation. Nigeria has a lot of potentials. If only Nigeria had good politicians, if only Nigeria had people, policymakers who are patriotic enough, who are willing to sacrifice themselves for the nation, Nigeria would have been a marvelous country in Africa. Remember, there are many countries in Asia, in the Middle East, that has nothing. Take for example, Singapore. Singapore has no natural resources, but Singapore is one of the best countries in Southeast Asia. Go to the Middle East, Qatar, Bahrain, Oman. What do they have? Just dinosaur juice, that is natural gas and the crude oil. And those countries have successfully transformed their countries. The policymakers there have used the money they've generated from selling their raw minerals into transforming their country. But come to Africa, it's a totally different case altogether. So let's hope that these governors put their money where their mouth is. But to you guys out there, let us know about what you think of the show for today. And with all the stories that we covered today, which of them really resonated with you? Please leave us your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below, because like always, we love hearing what you have to say. And one more thing, like I said before, our show is a conversational one and we will appreciate hearing from you. So if you have any particular story, or if you came across any particular article that you want us to talk about on this show, you can send it our way to any of our social media contacts. You can find them on this channel description section. You can also leave it in the comment section below, because we occasionally go there to reply to your comments. So if you leave it there, we are going to find it, and we definitely are going to talk about it on this show. So thank you very much for doing just that. Do not forget to like now. Do not forget to share. Do not forget to subscribe. Thank you. See you in the next one. Peace out.